Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout 3. Man, I have to say, even though it's a new day for me, there is a little bit of just like blasé in me. We're at yet another location where we once again are just going to kind of look around and investigate one more city to do one more quest. We want to ask Derek about the mechanist and the antagonizer. The good news here is I don't think that this is a
Whatever you can do to
super.
help our town, we'd appreciate it.
I don't think this is a super
With
big
all of
city.
that fighting, I never did get to give you the official welcome to the town, did I? Welcome to Canterbury Commons, home of traders, caravanners, and most of all, of excellent bargains. Here for business or pleasure?
Hmm. hmm. Pleasure's hard to come by.
Most of the caravans that come through, their fondest desire is to spend a few days off the road and to get a full stomach. We've got good food in the diner, and we try to keep it nice and peaceful here, when that's an option, of course. Good luck with those two troublemakers.
So yeah, um, this definitely feels like this is a town specifically around the idea of bartering. And if it was a town specifically around the idea and concept of bartering, this is actually a very big house.
Yes, that's
Um,
yes, I can see you eyeing it.
yeah, there's quite a bit here that would require key. Um, it would almost make sense to have you start in this city if you wanted to play as that character class. And I know for Skyrim at least, there is a mod that straight up does that, where you start up your game in completely different places just based on what kind of character you want to play as. Because that's not really.
You're funny looking.
Is Derek good?
Oh man, did you see it? Did you see it? The antagonizer was all like, "Fear me," but the mechanist was all, "Stop, evildoer."
Yeah, I feel like these two people were trying to put on plays for the city, and they've gone crazy around it. There's actually a Batman story, like I don't know if it's called The Death of Batman or which. It's a one side like one shot spin-off story that's not in canon, where it talks about in one reality how Alfred hired a bunch of actors to pretend like they were the Joker and all of the supervillains that Batman fights to help Batman get over his depression of his family, his parents being killed. And at the end of the story, one of the actors actually does become crazy and becomes a supervillain. And I wonder if it's not too far. Yeah. We don't want to encourage him too much, so let's go neutral.
You sound like Uncle Ro. He never lets me watch when they fight. They're just about the only exciting thing that ever happens in this town.
Stick with the middle answers here.
You think they're neat too, huh? It's not like they ever hurt anyone. Well, not like really badly hurt or anything. Dom and Machete make sure that everyone gets inside when they fight like that. Though sometimes I sneak out to watch. The traders and the slavers and the raiders, they don't like the antagonizer or the mechanist. They say they're bad for business. But that's dumb. The ants and the robots rip them to shreds. That shows them. It's okay, I guess. I heard it's safer than most places, because the raiders don't bother us. But I've never been anywhere else, so I don't know.
I guess that'd be true for most kids. I guess this kid also looks a little bit different. He's in better clothing. He's not torn clothing. I wonder if that's because I've invested so much money in this city. And it's kind of a shame that it really took relatively small amounts of caps to invest in this city, where I've spent thousands more caps in Megaton and it hasn't really improved much, or at all. Maybe I needed to donate to the churches. I don't think we need directions around town, ever. Let's kind of swear off asking those questions.
You mean the superheroes? Yeah. I'll try to watch all of their fights.
Let's see. We already know what the antagonizer is.
I don't know much about her except she really, really doesn't like people. That's kind of cool. I mean, sometimes people are jerks. I think her lair is somewhere in the caves to the north of the city. I've seen her aunts down there once in a while. Joe Porter said he found out something about her, but my uncle won't let him tell me. He says, don't encourage the poor boy.
We should talk to Joe Porter.
I knew the Mechanist back when he was just a normal hero. He used to be called Scott. Then he fixed up stuff around town. But one day, the antagonizer killed his favorite robot, and I told him he ought to fight back against her like a real superhero. Ever since then, he's been up on his forge and the back of the robot shop on the hill, working to protect us all from the antagonizer.
Interesting.
No way! Don't stop them, they're awesome! Unless maybe you're going to be a superhero too. You could be called Super Humongous and fight them with an army of super mutants.
Oh, and this could be almost a reference to that Twilight Zone episode or Amazing Stories episode. I think there was both, where the kid is psychically controlling everybody in the city.
Well, okay. Uncle Ro and I live in the Old Town Hall.
You know what we'll probably
Mr.
do
Porter runs the diner across the
is
street.
click on these
It's not really
just
a
to
big
eliminate
place,
them,
you know?
but try and skip them if they
Say
get
hi
too
to the
long.
Mechanist for me.
Alright. There's a door here. What am I even really looking for? But yeah, I really have to show the world map. Canterbury Commons is here. You start the game here. It is not realistic that from the tutorial mode you should find out that this location even exists, let alone make it to this point. That's where the caravans could have helped you a lot. The caravans also kind of only go in a somewhat circular motion in this lower third of the map, or yeah, lower quarter of the map. So yeah, it would have helped, frankly, if you walked out of Vault 101 and then you were given directions, or you were given the ability to get a free ride to Canterbury Commons if you cared about bartering, to Megaton in general to be a more neutral place. And then there probably are some other locations. Like if you wanted to be a vampire, for instance, going to Arafu would be a great place to kind of start. If you wanted to be a slave, or starting at Paradise Falls would be a great start. But instead, they've kind of forced you into having this neutral experience, and then only if you get to the edge of the map, then you can potentially think about the idea of changing up your play style, which once again is just too much. It's insanity, and I can't believe so many people kind of fell for it in a weird way. So many people, particularly on Skyrim, more than even Fallout 3. I guess arguably not that many people actually did fall for it in Fallout 3. It wasn't until there were some improvements in Skyrim that you started to have entire groups of people who were able to play Skyrim over and over again. But even at that, the mods for Skyrim are the things that really improve it to the better game.
We do our best. Well,
Like,
Dom and Rydo
and
do
that
best.
I would heavily suggest if you're going to play Skyrim, getting the mod that starts you in different cities and starts you with different stats as a second playthrough is very recommended.
Freebies.
A lot of the the other mods in Skyrim, particularly the adult mods, not particularly necessary, but there are some that will improve the visuals.
You mean apart from having
Arguably, not too many that I know of
Actually, I
by
think I
name
might know
that
something
fix
useful.
bugs.
One
And
of
there's
the
plenty of
traders
bugs.
told me she sounded like a girl he used to know. Girl's whole family was wiped out by ants. Not long before she showed up here. But they never found any trace of her body. Said her name was Tanya Kristoff. That might just be our little antagonizer. Best place I ever worked in. And I guess I've worked
So we could
about
talk to the
every
bad
place.
guy. I
We
think
got some
what we
good
want to
guys
do is
passing
convince them
through,
both
but
to
it's still
stand
enough for
down.
a guy to make an honest living. I don't really see what more a man could ask for.
I feel like the machinist, if we convince him to stand down,
Sure thing. Where you
would
headed?
would do it.
See you around.
Let's
Take
see
a
what
look.
he's got.
Let me know what you want.
We don't really need any food, but we might be able to sell some items if we have any items. We'll just buy sugar
Another
bombs.
satisfied customer. Bye.
Buy sugar bombs for 7, sell them for 15. Was this the door we came out of? Yes. In a lot of ways, I kind of would have liked the DC Metro to be a lot more like this. A smaller area, some small buildings. Now, arguably, they go too far in that direction. Here we've got some Brahmin. They go too far in this direction, and it's a little
Yes?
too small.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Fine. Hi. Whatever. I'm Machete, and I've got better things to do than talk with you. Scram. I know Dom doesn't want me just killing them. He and the Mechanist used to be friends or something. All I know is, next time they come to town, I bet I could solve the whole problem with one bullet for each of them. This whole place would fall apart if it weren't for Dom and me keeping anyone from causing too much trouble. Fat old Roe may think he runs the place, but it's only because Dom lets the idiot.
So this is Dominique in Machete's house. Take some Nuka-Colas. And it's more of a workshop than anything. Combat knife, it's not worth taking. Bottle cap mine, we'll take it, I guess. We do have a nuka grenade now, but these schematics are kind of proving to be fairly useless. In a lot of ways, this feels like they've decided to make a city in the same form factor as a dungeon, and that creates this different feel to it, for sure. I don't know if I particularly hate that. I don't think I really care one way or the other. It does feel different, though. And if you didn't have the loading on this, which certainly if you remade this game, one way you could speed up the whole process of everything is by not having loading when you walk through a door. You're right on the edge of the map. Let's see if we can work our way around. And it's such a small city, really. You could have... You can definitely see it's not like Megaton where there's a lot going on. So, if you had started in this area... Robot Repair Center. And here we have
Here's some of the local wildlife.
rats, scorpions, and
No time to talk to your type, local.
he's a Brotherhood outcast. Interesting. But he's not shooting at me. I'm still on friendly terms with the Brotherhood. Just by default. So this might actually be a dungeon. And I can definitely see the idea there in that concept to have this be a dungeon and then have this not feel completely different compared to the other buildings, since there's so few buildings together. Get the Nuka-Colas. Wouldn't be surprised if we found something robotics related as far as a book or a bobblehead. And that is the thing that's going to have us have to search everything. Pretend like we're reading that. So, it may very well be that the machinist went crazy. Like full crazy, unrecoverably crazy. More than the average Wasteland citizen. And these analog inputs. You can't use the D-pad. Well, I could see a lot of people wanting to use the D-pad on that. So yeah, we may end up having to just shoot the machinist. We may not be given any choice at all. And the antagonizer definitely sounds crazy, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have to shoot the antagonizer also. Of course, in a post-apocalyptic world like this, every dead person is another nail in the coffin of society. It's incredibly cruel, but imprisonment and frankly like forced breeding would be more in line with what you would kind of need, and that's where it turns somebody with good intentions into sounding like a psychopath to potentially be in charge of a city and go, all right, this person has done something unforgivable. We can't just imprison them. We can't just shoot them, though. We need them to have children. So, like, now we've got to imprison them and force them into breeding. Like, that sounds really crazy. And that's not gonna fly with a lot of people's morals. Like, that's the kind of thing you'd have to get people to warm up to as an idea. See, this is a weird transition, and I kind of don't want to go backwards here, so I'll just check out this area. Like, if there was technology and you could just take the DNA and then make a clone later, that'd be one thing. And that is one of those cases too where the best idea probably would get shot down, and you'd understand that.
How did you get past my defenses?
And then you would have to
Did the
just
antagonizer
once
send
again
you?
shoot people.
Speak now, citizen, or I'll be forced to detain you until I can ascertain your true motives.
Alright.
I realize you mean well, but I'm afraid you're being naive. The antagonizer is a madwoman, and the only thing that will stop her is force. As much as I wish peace were an option, the antagonizer is too deluded, too inhuman to listen to reason. Sadly, sometimes the scaly claw of tyranny must be destroyed by the cold, unfeeling pincers.
It's
of
basically
justice.
Spider-Man and Iron Man. Well, we've got a Black Widow thing. We might as well try it.
Is that true? Have I really become a threat to the town? Do you really feel that way? Am I really the villain here? Does this mean I should stop myself?
Yes.
I guess I could just give up my suit and stop being the mechanist. But I couldn't face the town after causing that much trouble. Here, please, take the suit. I don't want to think about it anymore.
Machine mechanists. Alright. Well, we'll take this scrap metal while we're here. Nuke grenade. I probably could grab some of this stuff right now and craft something. What they really should do, and this is something that they kind of do, and in some districts of the United States, and depending on the judge, is they'll often send people away, forbid them from entering the area that their friends and family are, which sucks, but it also keeps potentially like gang members from then just being in the same environment that caused them to become gang members in the first place. Now, this is like most things in the U.S. judicial justice system. It's very expensive and very difficult. But in the Fallout universe, if you could arrest minor criminals and then send them off to a different city so they don't have to be in the same environment or deal with the same people, you would really want to do that. There's just so few people that you're getting very close to that situation where it would be very much like the Salem witch trial days, where you piss off somebody at the age of 14 and then they claim you're a witch at the age of 35 just because they've constantly always hated you. And that certainly was the old way that things were done in small towns, is that, or even now in small towns, you get in a fight with somebody and you hate them, and they hate you forever, and you piss off enough people in the city, and then there's not enough to have your back, and then either figuratively or literally you get burned as a witch, not because you actually are a witch, since there is no such thing, but just because everybody has had enough of you. We've even seen that in this game with the psycho junkie. Just everybody is just straight up saying, yeah, he's gonna die because he's a total addict, and not really caring or giving any more of a reaction to that. They've just given up on it. That, I suppose, there's another case if you are a drug addict and then moving to a new area, while difficult, can be a great way to break out of old habits. You'd think that this would do damage to you. Not so much. This is probably establishing just the totality of the robots that are available. The lift seems to do nothing. So I don't know really with so much what is going on here.
Move along, please.
Got a whole bunch of switches. You can see half of these are falling apart. It definitely feels like he would have run out of... robots eventually anyways. Just getting a ton of energy cells. And unless there was some kind of code or something.
Move along, please.
Think I looked at everything down below. And I guess if I'd come the other way, I could have potentially just disabled everything. It's a warrior. I think there's barely 4 options here anyways. It's probably not worth it though to not pay any attention. Like, if ordered doesn't work, then founded doesn't work, then granted doesn't work. That pretty much means it's gotta be one of these. So yeah, if I'd come from this direction, I would have shut down at least the turrets, I think. But I don't really see a lot here. and use the stim pack. If we started to see a lot more of these sentry bots, in bigger groups, like, I could see that wreaking some havoc on me. I guess you can't really search those turret bots because they're way up there. I guess if you ran in here, so it's not housing, then, and not causing Hendrick. What this doesn't feel like this is doing, though, is just letting you find a place where you could shut down engines or anything like that. There's stuff on the floor, maybe in more places than I thought. I haven't really been paying attention to potential items just on the floor. This is a factory room like the printing press. I suppose it is possible that this factory might be up and running enough that they could repair and build more robots. So even a couple robots might be enough to have potentially an infinite number of robots, or a very large number of robots. Clearly, though, what you would want for this is, for all this junk, you'd want to be able to highlight an item and then it tell you, once you've found the schematic, that this item can be used for that build, instead of potentially making every single player memorize that they need this item and this item and that item, of which you usually need about 5 items to build something. What that would lead to is, at best, there's going to be one thing that most players remember as far as a combination of junk items that they can craft into something, and then they're going to pretty much completely forget about everything else. This was the other way. So basically, it feels like regardless of which door you went into, you would have ended up having to fight your way into this section. Coming that way would have been slightly easier, but only slightly. And at the end of the day, the only thing I'm potentially doing here is eliminating enough robots so that the mechanist can't continue fighting. Sector A encryption key. That's interesting, but that's kind of something that you would kind of expect to see a lot more of that happening, and you don't. We are getting some more books. Although we are at this point also needing to kind of check or try and double check to figure out which books we actually need to read. I imagine what we'll do is instead of agonizing over it, we'll just read all the books anyways. Let's just jump down here. Save ourselves some time. So a small little dungeon, and we had already done the antagonizer thing.
Move along, please.
These two just walked to this point. I guess if I wanted XP desperately, I could shoot these guys, but I think I'll just leave them. And then, yeah, we kind of don't have... See, this would be speech. We know speech needs to go up. Nikola Tesla and 2 is energy weapons. I mean, Nikola Tesla and U is energy weapons. Yeah, there kind of is just nothing here. So, we'll fast travel to the lair. And we may find some ants extra here, but I suspect we won't. Yeah. What if we were to try and jump on a bunch of stuff here? I feel like I'd get stuck. Because we did run into some ants in this section already. It would be a little weird to start to have to fight through more of that. There is one section here we kind of missed, which I wouldn't be surprised if I've actually missed several sections in the game. Like, this game just kind of goes on forever enough that it would be very easy for me to miss an alley, miss a turn, miss a fork in the road. Yep. There's literally nothing here. Ant refuse pile. We may have a bit of a boss fight when we get to our location, if we can't talk our way through it, but I wouldn't also be surprised if this is going to be a very easy thing. Maybe our Black Widow ability will work for us. Yeah, here we just have the antagonizer, and we're just going to talk to her.
At last, you've pried the shell off that meaty little mechanist. Give it to me.
Why do you want the suit? Interesting. I don't think the antagonizer should get the suit. I want both of these suits since they're custom outfits. First of all, and I also want to convince her to stop being crazy.
You would dare to tell the antagonizer to wait? No human commands the Ant Queen. But as you have defeated my nemesis, I will allow you to talk. Quickly.
Well, We have a speech check here that will probably fail.
Perhaps humanity isn't dead yet, but I'll be sure to help it along. Its writhing corpse shall feed my colony well. Now, my royal ant guard, kill this commoner!
Alright, so load. I don't want to do a lot of this, but in this case, I think I'm willing to try the speech check. It frankly seems like the game even knows that you're doing this and lets you succeed.
Perhaps humanity isn't.
But clearly it doesn't do that 100% of the time. Do I have any mentats? I don't generally want to use drugs, but in this case, I think I would be willing to do that. Nope, don't even have any mentats on me. And there might be another dialogue here that doesn't require the speech check. We might want to try that.
Isn't it only fitting to gloat over the corpse of one's fallen foe? To revel in a victory over a larger and stronger opponent overcome? If I couldn't be there to personally strip the facade from the iron interloper, the least I am owed is a chance to gloat over his shell.
There is an Ant-Man character, but
You would, but perhaps you.
like, we may have to do this 6 or 7 times. Yeah, Ant-Man and Iron Man probably have fought in the comics, but I don't think they interact anywhere as much as Spider-Man interacts with everybody.
Perhaps you.
Yeah, and you can definitely see why it's not intelligent to waste your time doing what I'm doing, because you will just fail miserably. And again, speech and barter. You may not even want to come to the city until your speech and barter is way up. Let's see. Let's go with this one.
You're right. Why bother with a trophy of one pitiful human when I can go forth and make a trophy of the entire world? But when the time comes, remember, as a friend of the Ant Queen's court, you will know the mercy of a quick, painless death. Now leave me. I must prepare to leave the pitiful town of Canterbury and plan for greater conquests.
So that is a lose karma option. We're trying to get the good karma option, and that seems to be harder. This might be your good karma option. Or we may just have to shoot her.
Perhaps.
20% or 19% speech check. Would it be worth it to fast travel?
At last. You're wrong. Humans are cruel, hurtful beasts. They can't be saved. We can't be. I can't go back. But I can't keep doing this. I can't be as bad as they were. Please, I think I've made some terrible mistakes. If you really think
She
I still
really-
have a chance, just let me go.
She really
I'll give you
is
the suit. No one ever has to see
changing
the antagonizer
her
again. Just please,
opinion.
let me have another chance.
So there we lose her.
Thank you. I don't know.
Here's
how I
an
can-
example of where she's being lit up too much. Normally these characters are like too much.
leave me alone. I want to leave all this behind me.
So, ideally, you would kind of think that means that these two now are going to maybe show up as members of the city. And that was a very nice, very simple quest, where so many of these other quests have just been nightmares as far as how long they are. I think I just maybe crippled myself. I guess I technically didn't. The line between falling and crippling yourself and falling and dying is also particularly low. There's not much of a difference here. And I would have to assume that these caravan people swap around, but now they may all be in different brightly colored suits. So what I might want to do is just wait
I hear you're my mysterious investor.
and talk to each of
With
these
your
people.
help, I've collected quite a few toys for myself. But what good are toys if they aren't played with? Thanks
Really
to you,
feels
I
like
have
there
so
should
many,
be
I can hardly play with
2
them all.
caravans.
So, I present to you a prize of the collection, a micro nuke. Enjoy it in safety.
Micro nuke's different than a mini nuke.
It's my pleasure to offer hot death in a variety of exciting flavors.
I can buy a
Take your
minigun.
pick.
I don't even think we need that. We'll buy that. And then
Thanks.
that'll improve our schematic. Repair all of those items.
Keep your skills sharp and your eyes peeled, all right?
Like, the caravan people probably should have something fairly bright and colorful, more than just a Brahmin. Something that really points to them being around and that you should check them out. And these still are just kind of labeled as nothings instead of ants. It's very possible that there is more around here, but kind of doesn't feel like there actually is. So we'll just have to see if the boy is around, which doesn't seem like it. And Joe Porter's safe. Lucky Harris local inventory. I suspect we may have to straight up kill the guy to get his key, or Pitt pocket him if we really cared. Which I don't think I do care.
Hi. I've heard of you. You're one of the good guys. Say hi to the mechanist for me.
So nothing new to say here.
What can old Uncle Ro do for you today?
Took care of both of them. There won't be any more fighting in the streets.
That's grand. I do believe it's fair to say you've saved Canterbury. And unlike that mechanist, you did so with significantly less stress all around. Now, I do believe this is our agreed upon payment for your fine services rendered, and a little bonus as a special thank you.
300 XP, way more worth it than even the 400.
I'll see what I can do.
Let's see, he can't do anything. Like,
Whatever.
400 caps is nice and all, but we're kind of fine as far as caps. Alright, so unless there's something more to talk to her.
Busy. Bye.
Yeah, it seems like Machete, well-named character, is kind of an unimportant character. Okay.
Fear not.
Lucky Harith. If we wait 24 hours, let's see if he walks away. Or if 24 hours from now he's just going to still be standing there and then he'll disappear. Maybe somebody new will be there. Yeah, it would kind of make more sense that he would just disappear and somebody new would be there instead of it actually happening and then
Harith
rechecking.
is here to offer you protection for a price.
So 1 hour there. So it took 24 hours for him to decide to move, which maybe means they stay around here. And it doesn't matter that you're moving time forward at all, unlike the first game, which originally had that limitation. It could definitely become a case though where you may have to wait many hours to get everybody to show up here. And it's probably not worth your time to do this, because you probably will just run into every caravan person anyways. Yeah, let's just deal with the next guy.
Yes?
Which we've already talked
Looking
to.
to trade?
Alright.
Cheers, pal. Watch yourself out there.
So yeah, that's not worth it. Alright. We could get to the Lincoln Memorial and kill all the slavers at the Lincoln Memorial. But I'm not ready to do that. I want to do this quest next. And so, Republic of Dave, I don't think we may have not gotten a key from that. Let's see. There's also Dukov. Let's go talk to Dukov, I guess. Just fast travel to Dukov's place. I'm not sure we actually went into Dukov's place. Looks fancy. We desperately need some more bobby pins. So it would be nice if... Tortoiseshell glass. It'd be nice if we found something.
Hey, sexy, let's get wasted. I mean, really stinking drunk. If you're lucky, I might let you hold onto my love handle.
Hi, sugar. I'm Cherry. Do yourself a favor. Watch yourself with Dukov. He's all hands.
So Dukov is basically having an orgy.
Of course. Why else would I stay with the old fart? You don't think I actually love that bastard, do you? He's a lecherous old man.
Doing
The
kind of
only reason
a
I put up with him and his
Mexican
knees
accent. We don't have
is
enough
I'm safe
Mexican
here.
characters for
Tends to shoot
the
first
one
and ask
Mexican
questions later.
standing.
Don't pull out a weapon near him. He's likely to shoot you. And he's really good.
Like you really,
You're a pig. You know that? I'm only doing this because he can keep me safe. He's a lot tougher than he looks. I'm not sure how much longer that will be enough, though.
let's see. Go with the speech check.
Why the hell should I trust you?
Fail that.
Hey, it's my life. Butt out.
If anything,
It's Dukov's place.
this is an example
here.
of
Pretty much, he just does a lot of drinking and partying.
people who got rich or got powerful and
Bye.
the people around them.
Oh, baby, let me get you something special. How about a Dukov surprise?
It sounded Mexican. It might be Russian,
Jerry, need some fucking booze over
but
here.
I don't. Yeah, it sounds more Russian now. Let's just go with the start of the dialogue here.
Haha, they're my party girls. I'm too much man for just one woman.
So I guess this is
I
a
need two.
Playboy Mansion type
I wear them out
idea.
every night. Why should they bother getting dressed when I'm just going to take it off?
But there's like also no adult content in this game. And
drinking, farting,
for
and
as
screwing.
gory and violent and mature as the themes of the story of this game, it's a little silly that there isn't like actual sex in the game. And in Skyrim they modded it, had to mod it in, and then it became a very popular feature for people using those mods. But yeah, at least in the Fable game, they actually, maybe they don't handle it the most maturely ever, but they do let you have sex. They do talk about STDs. You can get an STD. You can get pregnant. You can have kids. Here, it feels like kids just magically appear because it's not being talked about.
He's fucking dead, that's what I can tell you. Feral ghouls ripped his nuts off and ate them for dinner.
Let's see.
A little shithole called Fort Constantine. It fucked us up, but good. That dog ain't gonna hunt. You're gonna have to do better than that.
We're still trying to
No, clown shoes. 10 penny hire that whole fucking team.
trying to figure out what his fort is.
Trail, Crowley, Tara, Dave, and me. Tara had a pair on her. Sweet Jesus, they were nice. That place fucked her up more than I did, huh? The rest of us went our separate ways after that. 10 penny hired us as mercs. He wanted some fancy fucking gun. Don't know how we got Crowley to sign on. 10 penny fucking hates ghouls. Good. I'm getting tired of flapping jaw with you clown shoes. I think I'll flap my balls against Cherry's ass instead. Oh yeah! He's feral. What? Fuck me sideways. No, better yet, fuck him. I swear I'll jam a grenade so far up his ass. I got nothing.
This definitely
against
feels
ghouls.
like a
I
character
even had a ghoul party
that-
once to see what it was like. This is about the key, isn't it? The goddamn key. If you want it, I better see some fucking caps on the table, clown shoes.
I know why it says clown shoes.
That dog ain't gonna hunt. You're gonna have to do better than that.
Alright, fine, 200 caps.
Now that's what I'm talking about. You don't even know what's going on, do you, clown shoes? You just bought yourself a motherfucking key. Now take it and get the hell out of here. Help yourself, clown shoes. Grab one from the liquor cabinet. I never trust anyone without a drink in their hand. Of course, I never trust one that does either. Hey, watch your language, clown shoes. I don't pay them. They take care of me, so I take care of them. We rub each other wrong all night long. You need to drink more.
In a funny way, I wonder if maybe you could
Drink, Dookie.
just get like
Oh, I'm good. Hello, honey.
drunk
I'm Fantasia.
here and end
I'm
up
not going to be staying
having
long,
an
are
orgy
you?
with him.
Dookie doesn't like me to wear a lot. He says it slows things down. He's all right. He can be a real fun guy, but he sure knows how to wear a girl out. Most of all, I'm safe here. I wouldn't pull out a weapon, even just to show him. He gets kind of paranoid about that. Don't get in a shooting match with him. He's really good. Damn straight. Whatever.
Whatever clearly is like the default response to a lot of these ending conversations, where honestly I would have preferred them just to say like or yeah, just make a kind of grunting sound. So you have a light up Christmas tree, you've got a whole bunch of pre-war money. It does kind of feel like we would probably get in a very difficult fighting match with him if we were gonna get in a shooting match with him.
If I get the chance,
One dog ain't enough. Two is too low. It's me, the Rydo. How you kids handling post-apocalyptic today?
Yeah.
Here's the latest news. Unemployment is down.
Is it worth it to take the Nuka-Cola Quantum from him? I can't take anything out of the cabinet. He said I could do that. Couple of Nuka-Cola Quantums here. Feels like this deserves a safety save. Make sure we're hidden. Lose some karma. Here he's got that lantern that we have in our house. So there's Cherry. There's Fantasia. Arguably not even that crazy. Dave has 2 wives, so not too different.
look where you're going. I think I've had
I kind of would have expected some
I'm gonna be sick.
leisure, sexy, not sleepwear that you could have found.
So please, if you meet one of the Capital Wasteland
Floating toilet.
leave your prejudice at the door.
This just takes us out to kinda nothing. A nice overlook of the Anchorage Memorial, which that really does feel like that is the only thing so far we've seen that is different in this alternate reality. Everything else seems to be fairly in line. Let's remove that marker. Let's look at our items now. Do we have a key here? No. We have Dukov's special key. And we don't have Dave's special key. Because it would say Dave then, wouldn't it? So we may have to go and talk to Dave again. Meanwhile, though, let's go. We finally have a reason to go to Tenpenny Tower. Let's go talk to Tenpenny. Plus, this will probably let us get further.
I told you to get the hell out of here. Tenpenny doesn't want your goddamn caps, and I don't want the goddamn headache.
Remember, he was talking to the ghoul.
Last time, get your rotten, ugly, goddamn ghoul ass off Mr. Tenpenny's private
Now,
property.
Tenpenny is the only one that that sounds like he might be a ghoul hater.
What? No, just those damn ghouls. Sorry, thought you were one of them. Ghoul or not, I must inform you that You are trespassing on Alistair Tenpenny's private property. Renders an official business only.
So this one rich guy seems to own the entire building, which is way too big for one person.
That's rich. What would a man like Tenpenny want to do with a waste rat like you?
Speech.
Just a minute. Let's not be hasty. If Tenpenny is interested in what you have to say, I suppose you should get your chance. Though he normally conducts all his business through Mr. Burke. If Tenpenny doesn't want to talk to you, then you best leave him alone.
Now, Mr. Burke may very well
Any of his residents
have been the guy who tried to get us to blow up Megaton. So we know Mr. Tenpenny is pretty bad as a guy. What I also should do is see if I can get into the slavers' corridors.
You got something to say? Tenpenny is always on time.
Like, if I can get into Paradise Falls right now
Comfortable digs with side benefits.
without mezzing somebody and returning them as a slave, that would be nice, but I'm not sure I can.
He owns this building. We get our caps from him. And don't you forget it. I guess we could...
Let's see what he's got as far as things worth buying. Although, honestly, at this point, I don't think anybody is going to have anything that is actually worth me buying. We could sell dirty water, and that's kind of it, unless he had something like bobby pins. That's
Give me a shout if you
that's
need
the only
anything else.
thing I'd kind
Don't
of be
do
interested in.
anything stupid.
Maybe we should ask about the ghoul situation.
That damn Roy Phillips won't take no for an answer. Keeps showing up, looking for a handout. He and his kind aren't wanted. End of story. If I were a betting man, I'd place a stack of caps on him trying something violent soon. And that would make Tenpenny nervous. I don't like it when Tenpenny gets nervous. But I can't spare the manpower to go hunt down Roy Phillips and his band of misfits, or I'd gladly end this thing once and for all.
Let's see.
You're out of line. Those filthy bitches can stay living in those metro tunnels. They'll move in here over my dead body.
Yeah.
Whatever. Really? You? You're welcome to give it a try. But don't come crying to me when you get hurt. They've holed up in the nearby metro tunnels. They're living with packs of feral ghouls. Be careful. Roy seems damn close to turning zombie himself. I suppose you won't be doing this out of the kindness of your heart,
Nope.
How's 500, Bob?
The one thing here is this would pay a
Hail
lot,
determination
particularly at the
and
beginning of the
Roy
game.
Phillips and all his followers. Well, maybe you're right. It was something I was going to have to do eventually anyway. How about another 200 caps? And here, you can take this rifle and ammo. But you better not screw this up. Roy Phillips and his gang are somewhere in Warrington Station metro tunnels. They've barred the main entrance. Try going through the train yard.
So we now have a new quest.
That's a laugh. Roy Phillips can't be reasoned with. Trust me. But go ahead and try and talk some sense into him. It's your funeral. They've holed up in the nearby
There might be a
tunnels.
peaceful
They're
resolution to
living
this
packs of
between the
feral
two of them, but I don't
ghouls.
think so.
They've barred the main entrance. Go through the train yard. Good luck, kid. You're gonna need it.
Ghouls may be sterile. That would
Get
make a
started
lot
in
of
those
sense.
tunnels. Shoot first,
So siding
ask
with
questions
ghouls
later.
may be destroying any hope of any civilized society
I'm not here for your entertainment.
in the long run. But letting rich snobs and basically racist equivalents live isn't going to get you very far as a society. Anyways, wish you could do more with these practice dummies. It would make a lot of sense if you could just pull this out, go in the vats, and then shoot them and get like 1 XP every time you shoot something. Here you have a metro access and generator, and I think that is pretty much how you let the ghouls in.
Hey,
He's just programmed to stand there and look at the wall, basically. I guess he's practicing. Seems like a lot of these security guards are forced to sleep outside.
Oh, come on. Pay more attention to what you're doing.
Don't be silly. I know enough about them to make being friendly awkward at best. Besides, I much prefer spending all my time with you.
Like, where is this conversation happening? It sounds like it's happening in the building, but that would be weird if people were actually here. Let's check the strictly business quest. The slaver from Tenpenny Tower is named Susan Lancaster. So we'll want to find out and make a moral decision on her. But also we're not 100% sure we actually need to do anything there. Here you can see everything here is very, very rich for this world. Lots of drinks, lots of scotch, lots of, well, for lack of a better term, hoarding.
I'm Michael Hawthorne. Who are you? And more importantly, should I care?
They definitely make these
Oh, fine. We'll have to share a drink sometime. I'm always in the Federalist Lounge. There's certainly plenty to drink about. Take those ghouls, for example. Don't suppose you know anything about dealing with their kind, do you? Really? Fantastic. You can give that Gustavo a lesson or two. Well,
again, we're just gonna have to exhaust
ghouls breathing down your neck.
your dialogue choices here.
We haven't discussed this already? Apparently, there's a pack of zombies living in the tunnels. Gustavo says he has it under control. On the bright side, it's given me another reason to hit the drink. Look around. What else is there to do?
So one place is drinking, another place is sex, another place is insanity.
My name is Tiffany Cheng. My miserable excuse for a husband is Comrade Irving Cheng. And you can tell him I said so. Do you know he tried forming a committee to discuss the ghoul situation? A committee! He made himself
Here we have
chairman,
another
of
old
course.
person.
What we need is somebody to do something, not just talk about it. Don't suppose you know anything
I guess
about ghouls, do
since
you?
they also are old,
It's very clean.
they
and
they
safe.
probably couldn't have kids
Well,
either.
so safe. They say those ghouls won't get in, but I don't know. They're living in the nearby tunnels. They scare me. Why doesn't somebody do something?
This is very much
Perhaps you're right. but I prefer to keep my nightmares.
just an allegory
and
of
not test my luck with the real
the
thing.
uninformed
Thank you very much.
racism that would have been prevalent in the 1940s and 50s. Well, it's still somewhat prevalent even now, where these people may have literally never even personally seen a ghoul, and they're just hearing horror stories that are getting repeated and morphed into bigger and bigger lies. What you might do in this case is just notice that there seems to be no real business or happening in this city. So if you leave it to the rich people, you're very possibly never going to be able to really do much. Whereas if you let the ghouls take over, of course I only know that the ghouls can take over because I've played the game before, but they also are going to make it fairly obvious once you talk to the ghoul guy that that's the case.
Hello.
Hi.
I am Lydia Montague. I'm sure you've heard of me and my shop, Boutique Le Chic? No? Obviously you don't travel in the right circles. I can't talk now. Visit me at the boutique during business hours.
Business hours. We'll have to look at what time it is.
Welcome to the Federalist. He is the right lord. Or
Go ahead and just skip the dialogue. Alright, nothing.
Cheers.
Nothing useful there. This is new urban apparel. What time is it? Well, if it's 9, then let's just do 13 hours of waiting. So that it's about 10 in the morning. I'm fine with games having a system like this where something
Hello?
where people do different things at different times, but
Welcome
it
to
feels like
Urban
if you're going to
Apparel.
have
I
something
carry the
like that,
finest in pre-war clothes.
you
Hurry up, let's
need
get you out of those old rags
a
and
second
into
group
something
of
fabulous.
events to happen in the off hours, and the only thing
With my fashion sense and your bottle caps, there is no limit to what we can do for your image. I can't wait to get started. Only those deserving to live here can afford it. And let me tell you, those who do live in style.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. Yeah. The only thing you can really do at nighttime is sneak around and be a thief. And that's just not enough. And people don't all go to bed at the same time, and it isn't just like they're completely missing.
And you can thank me for that. I'm the resident guide to all things fabulous. And I'll tell you what isn't ever in style: disgusting ghouls getting their rotting paws all over everything. You bet. But who would dare touch them to give it to them? A very well-dressed gentleman when he bothers to get dressed. He hardly ever leaves his penthouse suite. They were told they can't live here, but they live in their own filth.
If anything,
squatting
a
in
lot of
nearby
this is
metro
kind of
towns.
an example of
Security keeps
redlining,
shooting them, but they keep coming back.
in which real estate agents were specifically putting minorities in poor parts of town with poor quality houses and not letting even minorities who are rich move into white neighborhoods. Although at a certain point there was also real estate agents also pretending like they had sold a house to a black family just so that all the white people who were racist at the time would sell their houses and move at a cheap price. That was called white flight.
What are you suggesting by that? I don't think I like your tone. I'm always glad to see a customer.
Let's see what he's got. Combat armor. Pre-war relax wear. Pre-war spring outfits. Pre-war baseball caps, bonnets. Casual wear. Sexy sleepwear. Yeah, doesn't really feel like there's much here. And all of them have stim packs on them.
Ta-ta.
Yeah. Redlining is still illegal, but I suspect still kind of happens. Well, I don't think I want to go that way yet. This is the penthouse suites. So they're kind of, I think, trying to save you some effort here by not having this become a giant tower of like 4 or 5 floors.
I am Comrade Cheng, beloved leader of the people, shining servant of the community. How can I help you? Thanks, comrade. I'm sure you'll agree that people are only as strong
Communist,
as their
apparently,
leader.
maybe Chinese.
That's why I do my best to serve the community to the fullest. Speaking of service,
Although it's kind of hard to tell.
I don't suppose you are familiar with ghouls, are you? More importantly, how to kill them? I formed a committee to investigate the problem. That's wonderful, comrade. Truly wonderful. Before you go ghoul hunting, talk to Gustavo. He might be able to help you. Well, comrade, things are great. The best of the best have
You
made a
almost
community
would
here.
expect that half
Well,
of the
there is no
survivors
problem with
might
ghouls,
turn to
but I think it'll be solved soon
Chinese communist propaganda, like, and say, yeah, the Chinese won. We should submit and become a state or be under the control of the Chinese. But clearly the Chinese also got nuked or didn't care to take over nuked wastelands.
I'm sure it will end in bloodshed. It's serious business, comrade. Are you mock?
These neutral choices are not really.
You're new around here. I'm Margaret Prim. Chief Gustavo assures us. Really? Every day it's the same thing. The man has no... But it's his
So
domain,
much dialogue,
so every
though.
day I make that damned iguano bit sandwich, no salt, with a peel. It's a great place to live. I've always dreamed of giving people fresh meals and a place. Tenpenny gave me a place to do that. Lucky? Perhaps I should feel lucky, but really, we've all worked hard to get what we have. I think it's fair to say we deserve to live here.
Do they?
Ghouls, on the other hand, they think they can just take whatever they want.
Maybe it is my
have to earn
bias
the right to
personally
live
too. But
I guess I never thought of it that way. It's probably really hard just living day to day like that. Now I feel a little ashamed.
But it definitely does feel like you can't convince everybody
What are you in the mood
to
for?
let him in. If there was going to be a kind of vote or something. These
Enjoy
guys
your
have a
meal.
couple.
Don't be a stranger to the cafe.
I see some sugar bombs back there, but whatever.
It's
We'll leave it.
locked for a reason. Don't get any ideas.
Yeah, there might be a way that you actually would buy into this if you were particularly rich and affluent, but that is what the rich and affluent always say, particularly like the second generation of the rich that are just children of rich parents, is somehow they still feel so incredibly entitled and they've never struggled at all in their lives. Let's talk to Lydia Montague. Is that... Susan Lancaster is who we're looking for. I don't know if we've talked to her yet.
Welcome to Boutique La Chic. I'm Lydia Montenegro, proprietor. Here you'll find only the best, with a price tag you can boast about to your friends.
This is a store.
You wouldn't know true value if it slapped you in the face. Tenpenny is a classy place. Just look at me. Look at my shop. Can't find top
You really
shelf
just
trash
can't
like that
live
anywhere
this
else.
high on the hog or this nicely when there's raiders, enslavers, and wastelands outside. At a certain point, you have to dress for your neighborhood, dress for your audience, and even if these people were super rich, they need to tone it down and not make it so obnoxiously obvious.
I've never been in prison, so I wouldn't know. All I know is that I'm safe in here. Out there, you got all kinds of nastiness, like those ghouls. You ever run into ghouls in your travels? What? Have you lost your mind? He stays in his penthouse suite most of the time. So long as we pay the rent, he lets us live here.
So he's basically just a landlord.
If they got in here, they'd get their filth over everything. You can smell them a mile away. I hope they come back and get killed by security. Yeah, thanks. My boutique has many unique items for the discerning
I'm not sure what
customer.
she would really sell. It seems like it's just kind of miscellaneous junk. I'll take a bobby pin. An intact garden gnome. I don't think we have one of those. Take pre-war money. Schematics for a dart gun. Scissors. I don't think we have. Scrap metal. Should I sell some things? I don't want to sell anything important, but I would like some money back if I could. But I don't think I really have a lot to sell, unless I was gonna just try and sell like half of these. Let's see. Ooh, you definitely run into a problem now. There's no left trigger, there's no right bump, there's no anything you can do. So I need to keep this in mind, that if I'm going to sell things, having 4,000 of something is too much, because I'm going to have to sit here forever to just watch the numbers relatively slowly move. This doesn't have a scaling system where it gets faster and faster, or a way to jump, or a way to type in numbers. So we'll just stop at this point and hope that that's not too much. That may have been too much. Yeah. Let's see. 2,000 times that much. If I click that, let's just do it.
It's been a pleasure doing business. Pleasant day to you, dear.
That will keep us in fairly high numbers as far as caps. We could also probably, if we find another shop. And then you have irony of irony here. You have a black doctor. There probably needed to be more of this. These kinds of x-rays are unnecessary 3D models. They're not getting used enough to justify their existence.
I'm off duty. Come back when... what the hell? Let's just get it over with. I'm Dr. Banfield. What do you need? My current theory is that the destructive disease of the ghoul condition will always eventually render him little more than a mindless killer. The proverbial wasteland zombie with a
It kind of feels like that's true.
Flesh. They can't be cured. And there's nothing to alleviate the symptoms. All in all, it seems rather sad, really.
Of course, that's what they used to say about African Americans too, is that they were a completely different species and they couldn't be educated, they couldn't be helped in any way, and that the only way to help them is to make them slaves or kill them.
Well, not exactly, but my colleagues have published papers. I suppose someone ought to verify their findings. Perhaps I'll do that. Who knows? I might even finally get published. I really hope you aren't hurt. People are healthy here. They eat well and have a strong roof over their head. Tenpenny is very selective about who he allows to live here. The correct genes and living conditions make for a relatively disease-free environment. Clean water is still a concern, of course. But we've got enough chems to keep the radiation sickness at bay. That's why he won't allow those ghouls to live here. Why introduce a weakness into a healthy system? Well, I guess I must confess, I've never examined a ghoul up close. You're right. I shouldn't make assumptions. He's the landlord, although you hardly ever see him. I had to treat him once for bed sores, if you know what I mean. Wait, don't tell him I said that.
Okay, so heal radiation.
All right, you're not that banged up. A couple of painkillers should do you fine. That'll be 50 caps. Then stop wasting my time.
He doesn't seem like he has any
Try not to break anything
stems or storefront, but whatever. We went all the way over there, so now it's just a little bit too much as far as locations. So now we have a whole nother floor. So there's 10 penny suites. And then there's a 10 penny lobby. And over here we have somebody who's living there. We have somebody who's living here. So we've seen about 4 people. And I guess the 4 people we've probably seen are the people that live up in all of this and sleep up here. That would make the most sense. That way, if you started a fight, there's going to be at least 4 people who would run and try and shoot you. And so I wouldn't be surprised if in the suites we run into about 4 more people.
Ah, hello.
Here you have just a resident.
Welcome
Just
to
a resident. We have very fancy big rooms. Which just does give the 3D modeler a chance to make fancier, bigger things. Arguably, they should have started with the fancy big things. And then like destroyed the fancy big areas.
Hello.
To make the rest of the Wasteland areas. But it's not the case, and so you see how these would have been really great areas for you to potentially turn around and find a rad roach in a corner, or find a super mutant in a corner that you may not see immediately, or fight something. I'm not gonna bother to steal sugar bombs. If I need sugar bombs, I guess I could always come back.
I know enough about them to make being friendly awkward at best.
There was that conversation we heard before.
For spending all my time with you. Edgar, have you seen the way Mrs. Chang avoids her husband all the time? Poor Mr. Chang drew the short straw when he married her, didn't he?
Yes, dear.
So she just talks
Mr.
forever.
Warrington, are you there? I swear, Edgar, it's in one ear and out the other with you.
We'll just look around. Really big. Let's talk to this guy first.
Edgar Wellington II. Have you met my wife, Millicent? Hold on. Who let you in here? Very well. As long as security is aware of your presence. Can't be too careful these days. What with these ghouls and all. Gustavo says he has the situation well in order, but I wonder if he's really tried.
They bang it
Suppose you ran into
really
any ghouls on your way
hardly
in here.
that they're all anti-ghoul haters. But then you don't really see ghoul haters anywhere else.
Then you obviously don't know anything about ghouls. There's a pack of zombies living nearby in some
It's
old
just like the
tunnel.
same
They asked to
responses
move
and the
in,
same
naturally. They were told
attitude
to go to hell.
over and over again.
Gustavo's hired some additional goons. Seems to be working. Still makes one a bit fidgety having those loathsome creatures around.
And it's
I
not
wouldn't even want
good
them as
enough
slaves.
that they're in this well-protected environment. They're still upset, and they'd be upset no matter what. If it wasn't ghouls, it would be those immoral wastelanders, or those dirty, filthy wastelanders next. That they have to have a common enemy, because there is no common love in the heart for most rich people, and most racist people, or
Well, Yes? Can I help? It's the place to live, the only Of course those ghouls are trying to move in here. Can you fancy that?
Yeah, it's just too many people to talk to.
Introductions are in order. I am Mrs. Edgar Wellington. You may refer to me as Madam or... You're better mannered than your apparent breeding would indicate.
If anything,
it is nice to make your acquaintance.
our character being grown and raised in Vault 101 probably then you'd probably be more relating to these people than most players actually would be, this character. Because growing up in Vault 101, you basically were handed everything on the silver platter and don't know the struggle that the Wastelanders have had.
I do hope you're not referring to... Again with the ghouls. It's all anyone will gossip about. Real Chief Gustave. Things. You're a real charmer.
Yeah, I don't know why Millicent Wellington and her conversation clipped all the way through the walls, and they have this kind of thing. And here we have a whole bunch of dialogue we can talk about or look at, but I don't think it's going to add anything. Rockopolis. Like, this might be adding things to our map, but it may very well not be. Here they're talking about Megaton and Underground, just in case somehow you hadn't found those areas yet. And I don't know what specific kind of character you would want to play as. I guess if you had a mod and it asked you, do you want everything easy and everything handed to you? No challenge, being born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and then just having like really high speech craft, starting at Tenpenny Tower, probably would not be a terrible area to start in from that perspective. This guy feels like he was an actual adventurer. And the radio is playing.
Hello.
Somewhere. We still, I don't think, have found Susan. Though.
Ah, hello.
But they really aren't throwing you a bone as far as any reason why you would want to side with this group other than just money.
Mr. Tenpenny isn't taking callers.
Speech 100% effective. I'm here to see Tenpenny.
Hold on there a minute. Oh, all right, I'll let you in, but if Tenpenny hollers because he isn't expecting you, you're dead.
Right, so he's just opened the door for us, so we'll just have this conversation now with Tenpenny. And then we'll try and find Susan later. Yeah. And when you start to look at this suite, there is just so much here. You can't take this car model, which looks like it's just the I'm gonna go and read this. What is our stats, by the way, as far as we're still very good. Getting our speech up higher. Barter increased by 5. And this does definitely feel like a speech more than a bartering environment. Yeah, it feels like a lot more ghouls could live here and use this space better than the elite few. Here you even see plants which it's kind of shocking you don't see more of this in the game, in the overworld. It would have been nice to just every now and then have a plant, a shrubbery, some greenness, instead of kind of nothing.
You watch yourself. You cause any more trouble, and you'll be dead.
Cause any more trouble? I guess they saw me steal something. And all of this feels like this is just 10 pennies. Own personal residences. Just multiple room upon multiple room.
Can I help you?
Let's see. This door was just opened by default. Yeah. It's too much for the residences. Chang's personal computer. Which you can just activate and read. Which is interesting. You can just activate it and read it. Just make sure we're hidden. Yeah, kind of nothing there. This basically means we could get a house here.
Can I help you?
Alright, well, before we go to 10 penny, now is a good time to make a safety save and take a break. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let's go talk to Alistair. Yeah, it would be really difficult, certainly, to make the argument that you would want to hang out with these people. They've really not done anything to enthrall you, nor are they really throwing caps around. I think I would rewrite all this. And see, the reason you can overlook this is clearly because at some point in the distance you can see the monument, the Abraham Lincoln Monument, and somewhere around here you should be able to also see Megaton. And I think that's pretty much what he wanted to do, is just blow up Megaton to screw with poor people in Megaton, or just to get it out of his eye line of his view. Something as pathetic and ridiculous as that. This is a nice view, but it is also kind of a fictional view too. If I was to somehow be able to jump and not fall to my death, I wouldn't be loaded into the overworld, I don't think. And from your ivy tower here, you can definitely see there's a lot of destruction and a lot of nothing. That building looks interesting. And instead of wanting to help them, you kind of want to do nothing. Here you have a round circle, which implies that there'd been a small nuke or mini nuke drop there. We're not seeing a lot of that in general, so you'd almost assume, looking at the overworld map, that nukes were dropped somewhere far in the edge of the map and just irradiated, and through impact and force and the wind created, destroyed most of the buildings. But this was not an environment where a direct strike would have happened, which doesn't really make sense, because you'd almost certainly assume, unless they had interceptor missiles, that the Washington D.C. area would have been.
Perhaps we could parlay sometime later.
And then you can't make a full circle, so you have to walk all the way back. This does potentially help you with a fast travel, but you can't fast travel, I imagine, back to this way. But yeah, if you get that empty suite, your view would open directly to this view. And that is about the only thing tempting. Yeah, but if I was going to re-roll all of this, I'd say every single person should be incredibly nice to you. They should give you free caps or free gifts when you first talk to them. They should try and butter you up and say, you look like someone who deserves to be there. Interesting. I would have not thought that people would be walking around. I would have thought that even from this distance, that would have been disabled to save on RAM.
How did you get past the guard? What do you want?
Let's see. I've been wondering, why blow up Megaton?
I complained offhand one day about how I thought that heap of metal on the horizon was a bit of an eyesore. Mr. Burke offered to take care of it.
Yep, we killed
Burke
Burke.
is such an agreeable man, isn't he? I don't know how I got along without him. I practically don't have to think about things anymore. He takes care of everything. I seldom even have to ask. He's a real go-getter, that one. We need more men like him if we're going to rebuild the world.
Yeah, and he's really gonna really not gonna rebuild the world.
Oh, no, I'm certainly rather sore about all of that, but certain sacrifices must be made. Besides, Burke assured me that bomb was quite unstable. I asked Burke to suggest they vacate. It was all a matter of time. Think of it as helping speed along the process of natural selection. Don't lose any sleep over it.
Alright, let's now talk about Crowley.
The ghoul? He's dead. Died 20 years ago. Good riddance, too. I hate those shufflers.
So you can see he definitely hates ghouls.
Who cares? I hired some mercenaries to get me some equipment from Fort Constantine. He was one of them. Of the 5, only 3 survived. You'll have to ask one of them if you want the gory details. He's alive? I should have known. It's hard to kill those.
It's funny how
zombies.
nasally
You've got to
his
shoot
voice
him in
is.
the head. Whatever he's paying you, I'll double it.
Speech.
You mercenaries are so reliably predictable. 100 now, 200 when the job is done.
So now I have optional kill Mr. Crowley.
I haven't heard anything about Mr. Crowley.
We want the key.
Oh, it's impolite for a gentleman to talk about himself, but I'd hope this magnificent tower would speak volumes. Some might say that Tenpenny Tower is my crowning achievement, but no, my dear girl, it is just the
They don't really use gendered pronouns that much in this game, so they could have easily just eliminated all of the reactions that are more gendered.
What key? Oh, that key. You're a moron. I don't have any of his precious keys. Idiot! Righto, run along now.
So we got one person's key on this quest, where we could bring Dukov's key to Mr. Crowley, we could kill Dave and get his key, or we can try and find Ted Strayer, and I think we should talk to Ted Strayer first before doing anything. Tenpenny Tower wants us also to kill Roy Phillips, and then the Strictly Business is Susan Lancaster. Let's fast travel to Paradise Falls. And let's see if we can get into Paradise Falls.
You again. What do you want?
Let's see.
About time. I got better things to do.
So it doesn't seem like he's going to let me in Paradise Falls. Okay. So we need to find Susan and Mezer. Right, let's see. That also lets us get rid of the Mesmatron as a weapon, which, frankly, has too much weight for its own good. It's just not a good reason to hold on to it. I don't want to be a slaver forever. All right, let's just make sure we can. If we set this quest, go down to the lobby.
Evening.
Evening.
I don't think we've talked to this guy.
Herbert Dashwood. Damn glad to meet you. Call me Daring. Everyone else does.
Even if I turned all of these people into zombies and ghouls, which is kind of a cruel fate, I'm not sure they would really accept the other ghouls, but that might be the best solution here is if you couldn't...
Maybe you've heard the GNR radio play? The Adventures of Herbert Daring Dashwood?
maybe you could turn
That's
everybody
about me,
into
you
ghoul,
know,
poisoning the
based on my
water.
earlier days. I even had a ghoul manservant. Let me ask you, you ever met a ghoul before? Ah, you've already learned some wisdom in your youth. Congratulations. Haven't you ever heard the radio play? The Adventures of Herbert
Haven't
Daring
been listening to the
Dashwood?
radio.
That guy at the radio station put it together a few years ago. He did it in the style of those shows they had before the war. Came out pretty well. And it's all true. Rockopolis, Miss Chase, all of it. Of course, they do portray me as a bit of a chump. Argyle may have saved my hide more than once, but I had my moments.
And yeah, if we'd been listening to the radio, we'd probably know more about this stuff.
Argyle was my manservant. But that's really just a fancy word for the guy who saves my sorry skin on a regular occasion. He was a ghoul, you see. Been around since before the war. We met when I stole his girlfriend back in '41. We'd been best friends ever since. We got separated a long time ago.
Yeah,
and never
question.
reunited. If you find Argyle out there somewhere, you be sure and tell me.
I think
okay?
we have met Argyle.
Some ghouls moved into the nearby metro tunnel. There's a bunch of the so-called feral ghouls in there, but a handful seem the sociable type. I've tried explaining to my fellow tenants that not all ghouls are monsters, but they don't seem to care. The intelligent ones should stay away from our trigger-happy protectors. If there are enough feral ones, though, they could overwhelm security. Aha! An adventurous soul like myself. If I wasn't retired, I might come with you myself.
We still aren't really getting companions here.
Well, until recently, the only danger you ever faced in this fine establishment was bumping into all the bloated egos floating around. But now there's a group of ghouls nearby. I've tried explaining that they don't all want to eat you, though some do, of course. Problem is, it's hard to tell which is which. Chief Gustavo has initiated a shoot first and ask later policy. If they're smart, they'll stay away.
Yep. Even in this case, this is an example of somebody
Go make a name
who
for
is
yourself.
still associating and living off of other people.
Evening.
Hmm.
Ah, hello.
Okay. Let's talk to Susan Lancaster again and see if we have talked to her.
What have we here? A lost little girl? You have permission to be in here. If not, you should leave before it gets ugly.
Yeah, we haven't talked to her.
You've got a lot of nerve talking to me like that. But I can respect a woman who doesn't put up with crap. Think you're tough enough to take on a couple of ghouls? That's just what I thought. You're a scared little girl.
And so you can kind of just play up the things.
Are you going to do something about the problem or not? Beats living out there in the wasteland, trust me. See, I'm not like these other puffed up fogies. I earned my way into privilege. I worked to get here.
By being a slaver.
Goodbye.
Okay. Now what do we do?
How are things? Bye.
Like, you're straight up detected here. So, safety save. Pull out a gun. Measure.
What's happening? Who are you again?
Here, put this collar on.
Okay, hey, this thing feels weird. Can I take it off now?
Let's see. Go to Paradise Falls before the collar explodes, sorry.
Huh? Paradise Falls? Where's that? I'm starving.
Okay. So, how can we mez her? We've got to find something later in the evening when she's alone, so people won't find it.
Hello.
And I hope that was the right Susan. Susan Lancaster from Tenpenny Tower. We've got to find her basically in her bedroom.
How are you? Good to see you. Hey there.
Welcome to Tenpenny Tower.
And it doesn't seem like it's quite late enough in the evening.
How are you?
Here, I live in Tenpenny Tower. I'm at the top of the world.
Let's go a little bit later. There's Doc. There's Anthony Ling. I'm not sure I've even talked to that character. There's Margaret Primrose. And there's nobody here.
Yes?
So I'm thinking she must be up higher in the next sections, which that would make a lot of sense. Certainly.
What's a disc? Hell if I know, but I'm gonna keep talking anyway. Everyone ready for the Capital Wasteland's latest news? Me neither.
We could
But it's that time again.
Guess rip them off. I just feel like once I let the feral ghouls in here, this might be the one point where you're gonna be shown how much you could get off of corpses. Alright, here we go.
Who are you again?
Let's see.
Whoa. What is it?
You lose karma for doing that.
Heavy. Oh, well, what friends are you talking about? Do I know them?
Let's go with this one.
The slavers? I'm a slave? How did this happen? I'm off to bed. Sweet dreams.
Now, does that mean these guys are going to be mad at me and start shooting at me? Seems like no. And I think it may just take a while before she makes it to Paradise Falls. Like you can see, she's mad dashing that way. I think you only have to enslave one of them, though. If I have to enslave Red from Big Town, I don't know where that is, and Flack from Rivet City, I don't know where that is. And actually, there was another person that we already killed that we could have enslaved. I don't think we have any more slave callers, so we'd have to go and get another slave caller anyways. Yeah. So you only had the opportunity to do it once. Kind of obvious they didn't want you to get too deep into the idea of enjoying the idea of being a slaver at first without at least having a bit of a conversation about it. Alright, I'm gonna go this way now, and I think this will lead us downward, and we'll talk to the ghouls. We have a containment door. It's very hard. This door is activated somewhere else. Okay. What is our status, by the way, as far as karma? Still very good, but next time we get to Rivet City, we should give a whole bunch of water to the last surviving beggar. It's kind of surprising that there isn't a beggar outside of Tenpenny Tower. You run into a problem here, definitely, that the game, and Tenpenny Tower in particular, is really not capable of appearing that nice. Like, you just can't get that far from the wasteland and the destroyed environments of the rest of the world. So even when they try to make something look fairly nice, it looks pretty bad. You can see here by the windows there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 floors on this building. That would have been a nightmare. See if you can open the gate.
Trouble with those ghouls? Like I tell me.
Let's see.
It's dark in those tunnels. Shoot first and ask questions later.
Alright. How do I get out of here? Is there a switch? Yeah. There's a switch. Let's look at the world map. we have it telling us where to go, even though we don't have it marked. And I imagine it will take days before she actually makes it all the way to Paradise Falls. Like, we are here. I'd expect at least 24 hours before she makes it to Paradise Falls. And maybe, very possibly, she just dies on the way. Like, you would hope that she was effectively immortal at this point and couldn't be killed by random raiders or wastelanders, but you never know. That's the problem with creating systems instead of just creating a more streamlined, scripted event. It feels like maybe a slavish caravan would make some sense. Also in this environment, just where you would run into caravans in which they had people tied up, chained, walking towards Paradise Falls. Here we have one interesting house that seems not to be destroyed, and yet it seems like there's no way into the house, which maybe there should have just been more of that. Am I going the right direction? Yeah. Now we're going to see how the other side lives. Clearly these ghouls are not living well if they're having to live with feral ghouls, unless they're just using them as kind of watchdogs. But yeah, nobody that I've seen is in any of these environments in these underground environments has looked like they were living particularly well. And my video game instincts tell me to look around here and see if there's anything of interest. I can't aim at it correctly. Radioactive gore. Feral ghoul. Something is spitting things up at me. What is hitting me? I'm gonna die if I'm not careful. Clearly, there were people up here trying their best. I feel like it's a centaur that's attacking. I'm just getting irradiated like crazy. Feral ghoul reaver. Ooh, this thing is strong. Well, the one thing I never considered is that I might actually run into something deadly. I literally hit the guy in front of me. I don't really have enough stim packs for all of that either. And these feral ghouls they're going to kill me and not have anything on them for the journey. Guess the good news is we can take a bunch of rat away to adjust for that. Oops. I think I just knocked a decent gun down there. And very possibly we'll never find that gun again. Just a lot of radiation. A lot of radiation with no reward other than some enemies to fight. But what am I really expecting to find here? A bobblehead, a book. That's pretty much all you can ever find in these games, in this game. It's not enough. There we go. One ran away. We'll fix that problem. This might be a metro that opens up several other metro transition places, but it'd have to be fairly large to really help you, because yeah, otherwise you're gonna just end up back in the generic Wasteland, unless there's some passage that can only be accessed through this area. In other ways, this is the opposite idea of the Canterbury Commons, in which they had a city that was using more dungeon style design. Now they have a dungeon that is going to actually be a city. I bet all of these feral ghouls are just going to be pushovers. That's a rumor. I guess any of these could have bottle caps or bobby pins on them, so we're going to have to investigate everything. I do have enough bullets really to just dry fire on everything. We do also want the local map available to us so we can look around and make sure we're going the right direction. I really wish you could just play this way all the time, though. Yeah. Because halfway through the game, as far as 15 out of 30 levels is concerned, we can now start to play this like a run and gun action shooter if we want, but I will eventually start running out of bullets again, and then we'll have to go back, or we'll start running into big enough challenges. Blue pass card. Oh, I guess maybe you need the blue pass card to ride the blue line, and the red pass card to ride the red line. And we're gonna fill out our inventory, I think, fairly quickly. And become over encumbered. Well, that is that's an example of doubling up on things. Doubling up on different ways you can move. human flesh. Yeah, just 2 doors and 2 doors again. It's kind of an interesting experiment, but I don't think that actually helps the player in any way to make it work like that. That just creates redundancy. We see a lot of redundancy when there are 2 sides of a train like this, and there's different potential passages, or I mean, you just never know. There could be something on this side. Still not getting the access points I would like. Or the action points that I would like. Some stim packs. You do create a catch-22 if you were to make the suggestion that somebody start a 10-penny tower and just have really high speech skills and really good weapons and really good equipment, and just have everything handed to you on a silver platter, because you would have to still pretty much balance the game out so that you could have gone through this metro section at level 1 as much as at level 15, although arguably the game is already doing that. I don't think we're finding anything in any location that indicates you wouldn't have at least a chance of making it through a fight. There definitely are some places where when you're fighting the super mutants in the capital that Feral Reaver. No, I think I'd have to take that back though. Like, these guys are all over the place, and either they are showing up because I'm at level 15, or this is a place that you would just fail miserably. Oh, I am about to die. And we finally hit a point, even though we've been able to fight like the super duper mutants, of which there's only 6 in the entire game, although in all fairness we had the Brotherhood of Steel with us. We've been able to fight everything very easily, and this is the only thing where I'm having to run back. It's actually hurting me. It's actually radioactive as a item. And rat away, and rat away. But if anything, there is also an argument that we should have been fighting characters like that this whole time. Even the little rad roaches, which maybe in an alternate playthrough there would have just been rad roaches in this environment. Although, no, it would have had to have been ghouls always in this environment, but they could have been much lower level ghouls. But little rad roaches causing little bits of radiation all the time would make sense to give you more of a reason why using rad resistance should be an actual system in the game that actually matters. And why Rad-X and Rad-Away should be actual drugs that you take. Even these roamers are taking 2 shots to kill. And I don't feel like their heads are flying off as much, and that might also be an indication that we have finally leveled up. And now the game is finally going to give us some real challenge. Warrington Station. That may be the only path we can actually take. So let's investigate a little bit more before we do that. There's all this steam and gas. Shows up a lot in the game, but never actually feels like it is explosive gas, except for that one place. That's what leads me to believe that there were multiple teams making very discrete, separate bits of content for this game. And had there been a more kind of consistent vision, the revolution starts here. It says, yeah, had there been just a more consistent communication between players, you would have seen more explosive gas sections, more of the same gimmick.
You there. Put your weapons away. Come over here. No funny business, unless you want to get shot.
Alright. Let's talk. This is also the first time anybody's actually told me to put my weapons away. Even though they said don't pull out a weapon in Dukov's place.
It's not safe for your kind around here.
Let's see. I'm here to see Roy Phillips.
Oh yeah? Is he expecting you? Well then, run along. It's not wise to keep Roy waiting. Has a bit of a temper, that one. You watch yourself. I've been stomping around with Roy and his gang of misfits. Roy's a no-nonsense, take-no-prisoners kind of guy. He heard about this tenpenny asshole, and now he's trying to get us in that tower. He's hatching some kind of plan to kill all those bigot bastards.
Roy also could be a jerk.
I wasn't always like this. I was a goddamn scientist. We were doing great things. Amazing things. Sure, sacrifices were required. Some people got hurt, but we were making real progress. But then those goddamn bombs dropped. Karma's a real bitch. You'd be wise to remember that.
Yeah, and at a certain point, there's definitely a there definitely is a point where it's not just that in the Fallout universe politicians failed and caused what happened and had bombs dropping. There was clearly a lack of ethics in almost everything that was done before the war. Ways people were racist and selfish. Even the vault system clearly shows that there was a lot of selfishness there. It's very easy to say that the people of this world deserved what they got. Maybe not the Wastelanders and the survivors now, hundreds of years later, but the people at the time of the bombs being dropped kind of did. And that is very reflective of a lot of the attitudes and just the general attitude of creating the nuclear bombs in the first place.
Figures. He's Tenpenny's adorable lapdog, isn't he? So what's your angle in all this? That's awfully decent of you, even if we already knew those bigoted bastards wanted us dead. Talk to Roy Phillips. You might be able to help us out. Live it up while it lasts.
at least these guys definitely feel like the underdogs, and this definitely feels like a underdog story where you really want to support the ghouls. The only thing I guess that would potentially convince me not to side with the ghouls is if there was something a bit crazier going on with the ghouls, like them kidnapping people, them eating people, them being thieves, scavengers. It would make the story a little bit better if they were thieves. Let's see. I guess that just continues down that direction, and that probably exits out to another area. But yeah, it would make a lot of sense for them to have to steal to survive and feed themselves, and people just in general not being willing to do business with them. Alright. Capital Wasteland. We'll walk out here. This finds the location of Warrington Station. As far as the quests go. I don't think this is where we're supposed to be. Nope. Doesn't really feel like there's anything there. But remember, we do just want to kind of map everything. Honestly, if we map enough things, and I suppose there's only one level 30 perk you can take, the almost perfect perk that gives you 999 of your special stats is way more valuable than having everything mapped on the map. That the odds of missing a few things on the map are kind of high, but not high enough for it to matter. I would say it would be nice if there was a lot more spider webbing, if there was a lot more people who are talking to you and telling you about locations and saying, hey, check out this area, check out this area, let me add this area to your map, just out of kindness. Somebody's saying good to see me. I didn't hear him or see who he was. Here's Roy Phillips.
What do you want? Biding our time, making plans, getting ready. Tenpenny and his pack of elitist wannabes can't keep us out of that tower forever.
In a lot of ways, I guess this is...
We'll take them if they aren't given to us.
A reference almost to the French Revolution, which was in part inspired by the United States Revolution. Where... Let's see. You're secure in the tunnels while I try to get into Tenpenny anyways.
Ghouls aren't built for luxury and comfort, is that it? You think ghouls belong scurrying around in that dark, dank underbelly of the wasteland? You got a lot of nerve.
Let's see.
I already got a plan. They think I'm a monster? I'll show them the real monsters. We'll unleash our feral brethren on them. All those bigoted sons of bitches will get torn apart. Trouble is getting past the damn subway access door. You see, there's some kind of escape door that leads from the Tenpenny basement to the subway tunnels. There must be some way to get that open.
Let's try the talking part.
Those snooty bitches probably can't stand living with each other, let alone with us. But by all means, try talking to Tenpenny if you like. But it won't work. Then we'll do it my way. You get that escape door in the Tenpenny basement open, and I'll unleash those ferals on them.
Let's see. Help the ghouls in the Tenpenny town, or kill Roy Phillips and his followers.
What about it?
Let's see.
You think so, do you? Give it a shot, kid. But you're dreaming.
I think this
I'll
is
wait
one of
to
those
give you a shot,
cases
but then we're doing it my way.
where the conversation skill,
Is that so? He isn't man enough to do it himself. Sends a girl to do his dirty work. Think you got what it takes? I see. That's smart of you. I'd lay you flat if you tried anything stupid. So don't. Tenpenny and his pack of elitist wannabes are in for a real treat soon enough. They can't keep us out of that tower forever.
yeah, this very well may be a speech check that my speech skills will still be too low to actually succeed at.
Not sure where you come from, kid, but out here in the wasteland, everything's up for grabs. And you only get to keep what you can hold on to. Tenpenny didn't build that tower. He found it, and took it from whoever used to own it. Now we're gonna take it from him. We tried playing nice, but they shot at us. Fuck them. It's time for them and their bigot ways to die.
In a lot of ways, that is like the same stance I have. I've shot at anybody that shot at me. You're no better than Tenpenny.
If I'm no better than Tenpenny, then he should let me into that tower. But he won't, so I'm busting in. That's the smartest thing you've said since you met me.
Oh, hello. I'm Bessie Lynn. I don't think you should be down here. Did you talk to Roy? I hope you know what you're doing. You could get in a lot of trouble by coming around uninvited. I wouldn't want to see anyone get hurt.
Now we have just more dialogue.
Tough to get past all the ferals. They tend to leave us alone. But someone like you... Am I babbling again? Roy tells me I shouldn't do that. Roy is coming up with a plan to get us into that tower. Tenpenny. He's strong like that.
Just
he never gives up.
more
The kind of guy who makes things happen, Roy is.
dialogue.
Follow him. Me, I just like the way he looks at me. Makes me feel pretty again. I'd go anywhere with him.
It's just like more dialogue.
People stop wanting to be around you, though. When it starts to happen. When you start to change, I mean. Please. Oh. Well, most people would prefer if we ghouls didn't exist. Be good.
So now I'm really at the point where I'm just skipping
What the hell do you want?
dialogue completely.
Live it up while it lasts.
Because it's just too much dialogue. Ideally, what you would have wanted here is for there to have been a much bigger split, a much bigger metro area where you would have run and gunned, or maybe even something just different, like a companion quest where you got together with Roy and then Roy fought feral ghouls with you. Right. And you really do have to just steal things in this game. That really sucks. And I could definitely see some people not enjoying that aspect or feeling like the game is being unfair by forcing you to play the game in a way that you don't really want to play the game. This is weird. Oh, there's a door here. I was like, yeah, it looks like there's a whole other place on the map, and wasn't seeing it. Let's see what's back behind this door. And yet, you can definitely see they have a lot less. Now, there is a problem, certainly. Anybody who comes into wealth tends to have a high chance of losing that wealth. So it creates this odd argument that really shouldn't matter, where if we let the ghouls in Tenpenny Tower, will they ghouls just then eventually be killed and somebody else still Tenpenny Tower? And the answer probably is yes. Eventually it will change hands over and over again, multiple times. But like, it is also true that second generation and third generation rich people tend to waste and lose all of their parents' money. So it just tends to be the case that if you have money, there is a high chance of losing that money. Let's look at this map now. Have we seen everything? Yes. So where does this take us now? I think we're actually in Tenpenny Tower. Or are we in this isolation containment door? Alright, yep. Door is activated somewhere else. On both sides. So it does actively connect. And I guess we'll just have to run in a general direction. Wish I could fast travel out of this location, but I don't think we can, although it wouldn't hurt to try. Yep, that would have been too good to be true. I kind of vaguely remember playing this game and really giving it a go as far as the speech check. Just saving and reloading over and over again multiple times, and my speech check stat was just far too low. Well, this doesn't lead out that way. I think the map is kind of confused here, because I think you have to kind of go in circles and spiral upward. So it's actually, even though it looks like it's a straight line, it's actually a spiral. And I think that means we haven't checked out this direction. Roamer. Reaver. And we're not getting the mysterious stranger perk. Enough for it to be helpful here. Alright, we need health quick. We're about to die. if these guys have human flesh on them, it does become questionable as to whether or not the Reavers become Reavers by eating humans. Clearly they are zombies, or at least the closest thing that this game is going to have to zombies. Skyrim, I don't think really had zombies as much as cannibals, and at a certain level zombies and cannibals are about the same thing. Let's see. We now are looking for more of a path, I guess. Oh no, don't tell me that this would have taken me out. Yeah. This would have taken me out to where I wanted to be. Faster. Medics. Stim pack. We are at the point now where finding a stim pack actually might be useful. It's a lot of radiation, but kind of nothing else. Over here. But I don't think it's worth it to miss a fight. In a funny way, we have now finally gotten to a point where fights are interesting. It is now just a question about am I going to, on the very easy mode, start to struggle potentially, which this game has been way too easy even for being on very easy mode up until this point. But also this game is just so incredibly long and grindy, it still doesn't really make enough sense that you would want to play this on a very hard mode. We may have to fast travel back and forth a few times to finish this quest. Is there anything over here? Nuka-Cola. Let's go check out these buildings because they look interesting, and we did walk out to see them. This would be a great place to have maybe some conflict or find something special. Lucky's. We have a store here called Lucky's. Let's talk to Lucky.
Yeah?
Nope.
Let's see. Repair that.
Take a look.
We haven't really been trying to hold on to things. So selling just generic items is probably fine. There we go. And then we'll just see what this guy has to sell. Where am I with stim packs? Yeah, I'm fine. I don't need to buy more.
Give me a shout if you need any. Bye.
Okay. So it seems like you would be stealing everything else, including this Nuka-Cola Quantum. Here you have some scrap metal. It probably really isn't worth the karma loss to steal things here. We might come back to Lucky's later on if we need something of real value. Like, unless I saw a book or bobblehead here, that's about the only thing that I would say you absolutely need to take. Like pre-war money, not so much. We can just take that. That apparently is free. Whereas everything else is.
What's the big idea?
Is that guy gonna shoot at me? Nope. Okay. And you can kind of tell that these Talon marks are just randomly spawned in characters, whereas everybody else, like, this is not the point where I actually need the mysterious stranger to help me. Like, yeah, unless these town company guys were going to turn out to be way more of a hassle, and just like leveled up versions of themselves. We've gone an entire episode here and not had to go and do any kind of repairs, which I'm kind of happy to see that. Let's see if we've got anything else that we need to repair, or if we're just holding on to a bunch of stuff that yeah. Inventory is high. Rads are low. Special really still hasn't changed a lot. Skills. Like we get these little books that give us like 2 points up here and there, but in reality it's definitely the level ups that are getting us in further places. And I don't think we really need to barter, get our barter ever up. I think you are going to almost always, in the back half of this game, start putting just all of your experience points into big guns, energy weapons, and melee weapons, small guns, and unarmed. Speech also still is a big deal. Like if I could level up and get a whole bunch of speech right now, that would be useful. Caps are laughably unimportant now. But it is very ridiculous for the game and the walkthrough to say caps won't be a problem. And then for you to have to play 25 hours and be somewhere close to halfway through the entire game to realize that statement is actually true. So that's just the invisible wall there. And oddly, no fast travel. Right. Fast travel to Tenpenny Tower. Do we have a beggar somewhere around here? I think there is a beggar somewhere. But I can't pull him up on the vats. It would totally make sense for there to be a beggar. Also make a lot of sense to wander around and investigate those areas. There he is. Here you go, Willie. We're gonna need
Please, do you have any water?
more karma.
I can.
Yeah.
You've helped me so much. You've helped me so much. You've helped me so much.
I think there is a possibility that my karma is kind of close to 100% pure.
You saved my life.
And you can't get it above a certain level.
You've helped me so much.
So I might be wasting giving this to regain karma. But it also just kind of doesn't matter. It's not like I'm stealing a lot of things. And you do run into the problem, like, if you were going to play as a thief, you can't be a good thief in this game. You will just lose karma. People will hate you more.
You've helped me so much. I've been drinking. Please.
Yeah. And I feel like there should be...
Give me a second. Keep your panties on.
Oddly sexist, but I'm frankly surprised there isn't more conversations like that. So what is our karma? Because we might lose a lot when we let in the zombies. What you don't see here as an option also is you can't just kill Tenpenny or kill everybody in the facility.
Careful where you point that thing. Can't we talk about this?
Alright, let's check our quest before we do anything here. Speaking of quests, Susan Lancaster still hasn't made it to Paradise Falls. Optional, we could kill Mr. Crowley. Which I think killing one person instead of killing 3 people would be interesting. Let's talk.
You have a curious look about you. I presume you have something interesting to tell me.
Let's see. What can you tell me about the basement?
That area is strictly off limits. Can't have people fooling around with the terminal down there. They could shut off power and open the escape door.
Okay, good to know.
Why, I do believe you've lost your mind. Ghouls living here? You're serious?
Well, if the residents are okay with ghoul neighbors.
I don't suppose I'd mind terribly if ghouls were to live here. And it would be a good bit of sport hunting them down if they misbehaved. I dare say, though, you'll have a bit of trouble convincing certain residents to go along with your novel proposition. Tell you what, if you can convince Mr. and Mrs. Wellington, Mr. Ling, Miss Montenegro, and Ms. Lancaster, those ghouls can live here. Have you seen me shoot? I'm quite proficient, if I do say so myself.
Okay. So we then have a note here. Where Mr. and Mrs. Wellington, Mr. Ling, Mr. Montenegro, and Miss Lancaster. If we can convince all of them to say it's okay, which I question heavily if I would actually be able to succeed at that quest. I don't think anybody is in any of these buildings. So yeah, maybe when I first played this game, I did just kind of get lazy on it, like at a certain level, and did just let the ghouls in. That is definitely the backup idea. And I could certainly see where it would get lazy.
Charm.
It makes sense. Dashwood is not one we have to convince.
Hello?
Primrose is not one we have to convince. Montenegro is one we have to convince. So let's talk to her.
Back for the best?
Hmm.
You're being serious? That's out of the question. What an absurd notion.
Let's see.
I think you must have been out in the sun too long. Perhaps I could sell you a nice hat to keep your brain from frying?
Speech check.
You horrible little zombie lover. What right do you and your disgusting buddies have to push honest, hard-working, important people around like that? Where do you propose I live? Don't worry. Did you just step out of a vault? Haven't you seen what's out there? I'm doomed. And it's all your fault.
She doesn't have to move out, though. I wasn't following the story quite that well, but seems like she's leaving. In a lot of ways, I guess this is the idealist solution towards elitism or racism, is that you're just going to that was one. I think that was Montenegro. Do we have a better quest? Like, yes, using speech and convincing people with your words is nice when it can be done. Unfortunately, it very rarely can be done.
Evening.
So do we need Banfield? No. We should also do safety saves, because the speech checks, I think, are going to get insanely difficult.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Good to see you.
Hawthorne. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons.
Hello. Good to see you.
Ah, hello. What? Are you kidding me? Mind your own damn business.
Chang.
I don't go
Nope.
turning lights on in your closet.
Ling. Safety save.
Jeez.
So Lancaster and then the married couple would be the other ones.
How can you be helped today? I hear there are some tunnels underground for use in emergencies. Ask Gustavo. He's in charge of all those kinds of things. You can't be serious. Ghouls aren't human. They live in filth. They eat their own babies. You're out of your right
So
freaking mind.
we might very well have to knock out 4 shopkeepers to bring in 4 ghouls.
Why would you hang out with dirty vermin like that? You enjoy sifting through feces. You know it's only a matter of time before they get hungry and eat you. You're crazy. Ghouls will never live in Tenpenny Tower.
Speech 30% chance.
In case you haven't noticed, I run a fabulous shop and live in the most fabulous of places. If my neighbors lose their minds and agree to such a thing, then I hope security shoots them in the head with their zombie friends. It's not... Ta-ta.
Alright, so that didn't work. So...
Hurry up. Let's...
Now we'll just skip everything and succeed.
You'll regret this. I've spent years collecting all this fabulous merchandise. I won't stand for this. Where the hell am I supposed to go? The only suitable place is Tenpenny Tower. Everywhere else stinks and caters to low-life scum like you. I'll die out there. I just know it.
There's plenty of room for both people to survive, but it definitely does feel like the trade here is that you're sending these people out into the desert to die. Okay, so now we need to just find Miss Lancaster, which I think if we're boiling it down to females, that cuts us in half. And then the married couple.
Good to see you.
I guess this is also a case where I have actually brought my speech up high enough that it still is doable.
Hey.
Like, whereas probably when I first played this game on the Xbox 360,
You better not cause any more trouble.
here's the Wellington. Alright, well, let's go ahead and save here. Let's see.
Yes? You wish to speak to me? Whatever for. Dear Lord, are you serious? Ghouls? Living here? With us? That's simply out of the question. Ha! I think I know a fair share more than some vagrant blown in off the wastes. You are simply mistaken. They may appear nice, but deep down, they want to kill. It's common knowledge among the educated. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. Damn it! This can't be happening! Why do you think I came here in the first place? To get away from ghouls, monsters, and scum like you.
This lets
Now
me
I'll have
get
to
more
start
XP.
all over again. Where will I go?
Let's go with good luck.
Yeah, right. Watch your back.
Alright, save now?
I remember. Why would I ever?
We'll have that conversation with him. It all just points in the same way.
You're joking, right? You're serious? Of course not. Ghouls can't. I'm afraid I can't abide by that. I can't imagine Tenpenny would allow it. But I certainly won't. Who do you think you are?
And so we fail, but the good news here is we're not failing like crazy.
I remember. I'm afraid. Who do you think?
Of course, even with 66%
I remember.
chance of success,
I'm afraid.
it still
Who do you think?
seems like you can fail quite a bit. And that is definitely a problem, is even if these numbers are accurate, they definitely don't feel accurate
Who do you
to what you would expect in a video game. Since most video games do lie about their numbers and cheat in your favor more often than against you.
This is outrageous, preposterous, forced out by a bunch of dirty ghouls and some bleeding heart activist. Where will I live? How will I get there? I found a comfortable place, but now I must leave. When I die, it will be on your head.
If anything, we might be very well just spreading the wealth by putting rich people in different locations around the wasteland. Ooh. We may have a problem with Susan Lancaster, though. Susan Lancaster was Miss Lancaster, wasn't she? Alright, let's look at the quests. Susan Lancaster was Miss Lancaster. So we have successfully convinced everybody that's left, but we need now to fast travel to Paradise Falls.
Charmed.
Maybe we can pay for Susan Lancaster's freedom as we try to move that story forward. Alright. Old map. Paradise Falls, fast travel.
Susan thought she could just up and leave, huh? We showed her different, didn't we? She'll think twice about slitting one of our throats now that she's collared. We'll need to come up with something extra special for her. Here's another collar. You're a welcome addition to our little operation here.
Let's see, 75 XP.
Yeah. Go on up, hotshot. Just don't screw around, or things will get ugly. No second chances. Got it? You again.
I guess we could...
Great. Found it in a box locked up in some old military base. I've been meaning to test it out, but besides, glancing at... If you...
Try and find some more things.
Gee. I don't care, but you can't. It's got a radio signal. Once you get a collar on, you can't. Look, I get.
Just exhausting dialogue.
Good.
Ain't no reason to stick around here, is there?
Alright, so now we can walk into Paradise Falls and ideally destroy the slave trade from the inside out. What was that? I feel like that was supposed to be a case where somebody tried to escape. And their head exploded, but I didn't see anything like that.
Watch yourself. You again.
Interesting, they just switched
Sure
seats.
thing.
Maybe this is a kid slave and kids can't be killed?
Oh God, lady, you gotta help us. You gotta get us out of here.
What the fuck you looking at, huh?
How the hell did you make this guy's head explode?
He did it. Dumb shit should have known the collar would blow. Now somebody's got to clean up this mess.
So somebody's head exploded and I didn't even see.
I'm busy, so piss off. You got business here, you talk to Unity.
But I don't see it. Yeah, it feels like this is another one of those cases where the game has had something scripted to happen and the character just wasn't in the right place. Most notably, that happened in the wedding. Also, I actually should go back and see if the husband for the wedding ever actually is in the Rivet City boat anymore, or if he just straight up disappeared. Now, the only reason I'm even taking part in this is because, yes, it's it's part of the game, but also because I want to put an end to slavery, since I think that's morally objectionable. Carter. I guess this is Carter here. So he was somewhat around here, and he must have just fallen through the floor and exploded. Okay. So it's been over 3 hours. We have an auto save, so we really don't need to save again. We now need to deal with Paradise Falls to some extent. Which I guess strictly business potentially is not a quest that will just end because I enslaved one person. It either would end if I go and enslave these other 2 people, or just end the slavery trade completely. It does not feel like, however, we can just easily kill everybody in Paradise Falls. I don't think it's going to be that easy, and I definitely would like more of a reason to do that. We have too much stuff on us still, even with the extra 50 pounds, but otherwise we've been doing fairly nicely. Oddly, we really haven't been picking up a lot of armor or weapons anyways, because we've been fighting ghouls mostly and doing a lot of talking. Well, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media, there's a bunch of links down below. If you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.